Hi my friend, how are you? Welcome to Choice Tech. In this video of Choice Tech, we are going to look into the frog jump problem, which we'll solve using the dynamic programming technique. Let me also tell you that this problem was asked in one of the Google interviews. So I want you to watch this video till the end. Also at the end of this video, I am going to tell you how the solution of this problem occurred to me. So all you have to do is sit tight, stay tuned and watch this video till the end. Now let's take a look at the problem statement. Okay, so Freddy the frog has to cross a river to meet its family. So there is a river. The frog is on one side of the river. It has to go to the other side of the river. Now in the river, there are stones lined up at different distances. Those distances are in meters. And on those stones, the frog can jump to cross the river. Now, one more thing that we need to keep in mind is that the frog can only jump on the stones. It cannot jump in the water. So it has to take the help of the stones to go across the river. In the beginning, the frog is sitting on the first stone and the first jump has to be 1 meter. So it is on the first stone, which is near to the side of the river where the frog is currently. The first jump that it is going to take will be of 1 meter. Now, this is a condition, and this condition is the whole and soul of the problem. So the condition is that if the last jump of the frog is k meters, then its next jump can be either k minus 1 meters, k meters, or k plus 1 meters. So suppose if the last jump of the frog was of 2 meters, then the next jump can be either 1 meter, that is 2 minus 1, 2 meters, which is k as it is, or 3 meters, that is 2 plus 1. So this is a very important thing that we need to keep in mind. Now we need to find out if Freddy the frog can make it across the river by landing on the last stone given. Alright, there are certain things which we also need to keep in mind. The first of them is that the number of stones is always going to be greater than 2. So I'm talking about different test cases. So we are working on one test case, but if there is another test case that you will be working upon, then the number of stones will always be greater than 2. Now the position of each stone will be a non-negative integer. So it will be non-negative. It cannot be any negative position. Now the first position of the stone is always 0. So irrespective of the test cases, the first position of the stone will always be 0 meters. Now in our problem there are 8 stones. So the first is at 0 meter, then the second one is at 1 meter, the third one is at 3 meters, then 5 meters, 6 meters, 8 meters, 12 meters and 17 meters. So this is our last stone. If the frog can make it here by jumping on all these stones, then we can say that yes, it can go across the river. Now we are going to solve it using dynamic programming. We are going to switch to our framework where I will show you how to construct the dynamic programming solution of this problem. But before we move there, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, then please do so and hit the bell icon, because that impacts my ability to create videos like such in a direct manner. Now let's switch to the framework and start solving this problem. Alright, so here I have listed down the respective distances of all the 8 stones in an array for the demonstration purpose. We are adapting the dynamic programming technique, so we'll be following up the bottom-up approach. That means we are going to start from the smallest subproblem, which is this, because the frog is already at stone 0. We are also going to assume that the last jump of the frog was 0 to begin with. Now there are two variables I am placing, one is I and one is j. As we progress, you are going to learn how to make use of these variables. So let's start from here. So what we have to look into first is the last jump. So the last jump has been assumed as 0. So like stated in the problem, the next jump possibilities will be k minus 1, so it will be minus 1, k, which is 0 already, and k plus 1, it is going to be 1. Now what we have to do, we will start adding these values to this cell. Alright, now the first possibility is minus 1, so how can a frog jump minus 1 meter? It cannot go back, so this possibility is ruled out. Second, we have 0, that means no jump, so this possibility obviously we are going to rule out. Alright, now we are left with the last possibility, which is 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add this 1 to this 0. Alright, so it is going to give me 1, which is our target, which is our next stone. Alright, so that is within the reach of the frog now. It is clear that it is within the reach of the frog. So that means the frog can proceed now. I am going to store 1 over here as the last jump. Alright, now we'll move to the second sub problem. So I will proceed, I will move 1 cell to the right. Okay, now our last jump, when j is here, the last jump was 0, and we already saw that the possibilities of the next jump were minus 1, 0 and 1. Alright, so 1 was the only genuine possibility, and if I add that 1 to this 0, I'm going to get here, I cannot get to 3. So this particular iteration is ruled out. So j will move 1 cell to the right. Now here the last jump is 1. So what are my possibilities? 1 is 0, which is k minus 1, and then k, which is 1, and k plus 1 is going to be 2. Alright, now 0 is ruled out obviously, but the algorithm is going to add this to this and check if 3 can be reached, but when speaking logically, I am ruling out 0. Then we have 1. 1 added to 1 is going to give me 2. Here the frog has to jump to a stone which is 3 meters away from the beginning. So this possibility is also ruled out. Now 2 added to 1 is going to give me 3. Now this tells me, this determines that the next stone is also within the reach of the frog. So the frog can progress further, and this 2 will appear as the last jump now. Alright, let's reset the counters. So j goes back to its base position and I moves to the next sub problem. Now we have already seen that from here we cannot reach to 5. We know that. Alright, so we move here, j. From j we had the 3 possibilities. What were they? 0, 1 and 2. The highest possibility that we used in the last iteration, that only got us to this stone, so no way we can reach 5 from here. Alright, now j moves 1 cell to the right. Here the last jump is 2. Now let's consider it. So the possibilities are going to be k minus 1, which is 1, k, which is 2, and k plus 1, which is 3. Now if I add 1 to this 3, I am going to get 4. So when I am going to use this possibility, this jump possibility, I cannot reach to the next stone, or should I say the frog cannot reach the next stone. Alright, so this is ruled out. Then I have 2. When 2 is added to 3, it takes the frog to the next stone. Now the next stone is also within the reach of the frog. Alright, so this possibility is considered. We don't have to consider the next possibility now, because it is clear, it is certain that the frog can progress to the next cell. So I am going to place 2 over here. That's my last jump. Now j goes back to its base position and I moves 1 cell to the right. Now we have already seen that a frog cannot reach from 0 to 6, and we also know logically that the frog cannot reach 6 from 1. So I'm not going to get into those iterations. I'm going to come directly over here. Here the last jump is recorded as 2. So the possibilities are going to be 1, 2 and 3. As you can see, if I consider this possibility, 3 plus 3 is going to give me 6. So the frog can reach to this particular stone directly from here. So this will be recorded as one of the last jumps. So I'm going to put 3 over here. Okay. J moves one cell to the right now. Okay. So here we are. And here the possibilities are going to be 1, 2 and 3. So 2 was the last jump. K minus 1 is 1. K is 2. K plus 1 is 3. So if I add 1 to this 5, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get 6. So from here, the stone is also within the reach of the frog. Alright. So 1 will be recorded here. Now, so there is one more possibility. Alright. So we are recording both. Okay. We don't have to consider 2 and 3 because we have already considered one jump possibility, that is 1. We don't have to go here and here. Alright. So this particular iteration is also over. Now I moves one cell to the right and J goes back to its base position. Alright. Logically speaking, from 0, from 1, from 3, we cannot reach 8. You can check it out yourself. Alright. So I'm not going to go into these iterations. I'm going to directly bring J here. Now here the last jump is 2. So what are my possibilities? Jump possibilities 1, 2 and 3. Okay. Add 1 to 5, I am going to get 6. I am considering 8. Currently the iteration which is under consideration right now is for the stone which is 8 meters from the starting point. So 5 plus 1 is giving me 6, but it's not giving me 8 obviously. So I'm going to rule out this possibility. Then I have 2. 2 plus 5 is going to give me 7. Again not 8. So this possibility is also gone. Now we have 3. So 5 plus 3 is going to give me 8. Alright. So I am going to record 3 over here. One of the last jumps becomes 3. Cool. Now J moves one cell to the right over here. So first value which we have is 3. What will be my possibilities? It will be 2, it will be 3 and it will be 4. So let's consider the first possibility. 2 added to 6 is going to give me 8. Alright, that's it. So the first jump possibility has been considered. So I'm going to record 2 over here again. Alright, I don't have to go to 3 and 4 now, because that if the frog lands here, it can proceed further. It can go to this particular stone. There is also one possibility, but we will not consider it because we have found out that the frog can proceed further. Okay, we have got the jumps also. Alright, now I moves one cell to the right and J goes back to its base position. So this and this won't be considered. This also won't be considered. Let's bring J right here. I mean, the algorithm is going to check all these iterations, but it will go in vain as the last recorded jumps are not going to take the frog from any of these stones to this particular stone, which is 12 meters from the left hand side. Over here I have got this possibility, but here as we saw that the jump possibilities were 2, 3 and 4, and if we add the highest possibility to 6, even after that we are going to get to 10, which is less than 12, so that also won't matter. J will shift one cell to the right in this case. Now here we have the first possibility, which is 3. So here we have the last jump recorded, one of the last jumps recorded as 3. So the possibilities are 2, 3 and 4. Alright, so if I add 2 to this 8, I'm going to get 10, so this will be ruled out. Alright, if I add 3 to this 8, I'm going to get to 11, so this is also ruled out. And if I add 4 to this 8, I'm going to get to 12. Alright, so I've got my jump. It is certain now that if the frog lands here, then using all the previous information, using all the previous last jumps, the frog can reach to this particular stone. Okay. Alright, we don't have to consider this one because we have already found out that the frog can progress to the next stone. So J goes back to its base position and I comes here. Now we are going to bring J directly over here because I know and you also know that the last jumps recorded in all these stones are not going to take the frog here. Okay. So over here, let's consider the last jump, which is 4. The next jump possibilities will be 3, 4 and 5. Let's consider the first possibility. So 3 plus 12 is going to give me 15. It is less than 17. Frog is not able to reach with this possibility, ruled out. Then I have 4. 4 plus 12 is going to give me 16. So the frog cannot reach 17 using this particular possibility, ruled out. Now I have the last possibility, 5. 5 plus 12 is going to give me 17. And this specifies that the frog can reach to the last stone. So let me record 5 over here, and this also tells me that the frog can make it across the river using the last stone if the stones are placed at these distances in the river. So the answer is that yes, the frog can cross the river. Now let me tell you, when I first encountered this problem and I laid down all the stones in an array, I thought of solving it using the longest increasing subsequence problem as well as the minimum number of jumps to reach end problem. So I can say that those two problems helped me decide the approach to solve this problem. So the point is that the basic problems really matter. The more the basic problems are clear in your mind, advanced problems like these will become a piece of cake for you. Now let's take a look at its algorithm. So here we are at the algorithm. I have used 3 for loops. The first loop is for I, and that is going to run for the entire length of the array. The second loop is for j, which is going to start from the base position, which is 0, and it's going to proceed towards I. And the third loop is for all the recorded last jumps in a jth cell. Now here I am checking if the value at jth cell plus the recorded last jumps, the 3 next jump possibilities, that means position, position minus 1, position plus 1, if any of them is equal to the value at the ith cell, then in our solution array we are going to add the difference between the values of ith cell and the jth cell, and we are going to break the loop. That means we are not going to be looking into the other last jumps recorded at the jth cell. Let me also tell you that each cell of our solution array must be a list in itself, and this is because we may have to store multiple recorded last jumps. That is why each cell of the array must act as a list. So in the end, there is a Boolean operation happening when we are checking whether the size of the last cell of the solution array is greater than 0. If it is, then true will be returned. If it is not, then false will be returned. So true is going to indicate that the frog can cross the river, which is also our case. With this, we have come to the end of this video. I hope you learned from this video. Do give it a thumbs up. I look forward to help you with programming and algorithms. Any doubts you have regarding the explanation, please put down them in comments. I promise I'll answer them only for this video. Good night and take care.